I've maintained 10 to 12% body fat for the 10 years I've been lifting. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the 8 dieting hacks that help me stay lean and shredded year round as a business owner. And the best thing is these are all very simple and easy to follow. There's no fad diets, there's no quick fixes involved. So starting out with number 1, and that is I optimize my food environment. If a food is in your house, sooner or later it's going to be eaten. So if you show me your fridge, I will show you your future physique. I know for me personally, I used to always binge eat on a Saturday night. Okay, why was it so easy for me to binge eat? Because if foods were in the house, I could just get some protein granola, I could just get some ice cream, there was no resistance at all. But if you make it very, very difficult for you to get some of those ultra processed foods, it's going to make dieting much, much easier. And speaking of which, another thing is number 2, that is planning tomorrow today. So most business owners, corporate professionals, you know exactly what days your meetings are, what times you need to be there at, but you don't know what you're going to eat the following day. If you are proactive rather than reactive with your food, it's going to make the process much, much easier. But if you only eat when you're hungry, you're likely going to make poor food choices. So what I always recommend for our clients is to plan tomorrow today. This doesn't mean you have to have all your meals prepped, but if you know exactly what you're going to have for breakfast, lunch and dinner, what snacks you're going to have in between, it eliminates decision fatigue and helps you stay consistent to your word. So personally, what our clients do is they will log their food on MyFitnessPal one day in advance, and it makes that process much, much easier. And this leads me on to nicely point number 3, and that is I track my calories. Okay, if you're not assessing, you're guessing. And I do not understand how some people, they're willing to work out for 1 hour a day, but they're not willing to spend 5 minutes on MyFitnessPal logging your food. In fact, one of my clients, Davey, came to me in this situation. He was training 4 times a week, doing cardio, doing some weights, but he wasn't logging his calories. When we got him to log his calories, guess what happened? His body fat reduced, his muscle mass increased, and he got to sub 12% body fat. Tracking your calories is not that hard at all. Just get yourself a kitchen scale, download MyFitnessPal, and focus on aiming for progress rather than being perfect. However, with all that being said, tracking calories becomes much easier when you do number 4, that is eat mostly single ingredient whole foods. I was doing a precision nutrition course before, and they explained whole food so simply. What is a whole food? So a whole food is one ingredient. An apple is just an apple, a chicken fillet is just a chicken fillet. And they generally tend not to come in packages, they're very, very easy to recognize, and they tend to go off quite quickly. So if you just mostly consume whole foods, they're very, very easy to track and keep an eye on. However, if you're having ultra processed foods, you're eating out a lot, or you're having foods that are high in oils, high in fats, high in sugar, number 1, they're higher in calories, but number 2, they're harder to track. If you go to a restaurant and you get creamy chicken pasta, it's like, what even is in that creamy chicken pasta sauce, okay? So they're the things you want to be looking out for. But if you have mostly single ingredient whole foods, it just makes the process much easier, and you're going to feel and function much, much better also. Now, with all of that being said, when you're eating whole foods, when you're in a calorie deficit, okay, what can that do? That can actually cause metabolic slowdown and slow down your metabolism. So something I personally do is I will take diet breaks and refeeds every 5 to 6 weeks. So usually what we recommend with our clients is we do 5-week calorie deficit, 1 week of maintenance, and we repeat that process. The reason being is because when you're dieting for too long, okay, that can down-regulate your metabolism. So you want to add fuel to the fire every couple of weeks to make sure that you, number 1, prevent metabolic slowdown, and number 2, you wash off fatigue. In fact, one of my clients, Darren, he came to me, he was consuming 1,800 calories, he couldn't lose weight. We increased his calories from 1,800 to 2,500, and he dropped body fat, but he also got leaner at the same time. So that's why sometimes less isn't always more, and taking diet breaks, I find personally, every 5 or 6 weeks helps me stay consistent and stay on track. And staying consistent and staying on track is much, much easier when you're not starving and your tummy is not rumbling. And that's why I always prioritize protein and fibre, okay? Protein and fibre are very, very satiating. So in every single meal, I'll have a lean source of protein, whether it's protein powder, Greek yogurt, chicken breast, sea bass, salmon, whatever it might be. Every single meal, I have a source of protein and some form of fruit or vegetable. This helps me stay fuller for longer because I hate going to bed hungry. And speaking of going to bed, okay, number 7, meal timing has been really important for me over the last while. So anymore, I personally do not eat 2 or 3 hours before bed, because you don't want to be digesting your food as you sleep. And just what I know myself is that usually 2 or 3 hours before bed, that is the danger zone. For most people, after 6 or 7 o'clock at night, that's where they fall down. They snack on biscuits and they snack on all the junk food, okay? And then they put themselves out of their calorie deficit. So for me, I generally stop eating around 7 o'clock, which is 2 or 3 hours before my bedtime. That helps me stay consistent and stay on track. But mealtime is not only important for when I stop eating, but also the type of foods that I eat, okay? So what I personally do is I use my HighLow carb cycling approach, where I cycle my carbohydrates around my workouts. When I'm working out, when I'm lifting weights, my body needs those carbs. So pre-workout, I'll have cream of rice. Post-workout, I'll have something like chocolate protein oats, and that helps fuel my performance and also my recovery. And that leads me on to point number 8, and that is you have to make it enjoyable and make it fun. Like, I cannot believe that I'm able to drop body fat and stay lean while having something like chocolate protein oats or protein pancakes. For me, it's like freaking dessert in my mouth. I absolutely love those foods. But I also absolutely love my meals on a daily basis. Like, I love a fresh fillet of salmon with some rice, with some vegetables, with some lemon squeeze on top and Himalayan salt. And when you become more accustomed to having more whole foods, eating properly, okay, your body will crave less of the junk food and the sugars you've probably been craving all this while, and you'll actually start to enjoy just eating healthily, and it will not feel like a diet but rather a lifestyle change. So for me, every single day I eat something that I look forward to, and that helps me stay on track, stay consistent, and stay lean year round. So if you want to do the same, make sure you implement these steps. You don't need to do all 8, but implement as many as possible. And I promise you, if you stay consistent, you can absolutely reach your ideal body composition and physique. And if you found this video helpful, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. I put out content like this every single week. If you want daily fitness tips, follow me on Instagram, Adrian_MacLifestyleFitness. And if you want one-on-one coaching where we essentially come up with a customized training plan and program for you, just click the link below in the bio to schedule a call at me or a member of my team, and we can see if you might be a good fit and talk about your goals in more detail. But that's all for this video. Catch you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed.